All right, I'm gonna get started with a Next.js project. So I'm gonna copy this command to create a new project. Gonna go over here. I'm gonna call it my name, and I'm just gonna accept the defaults. Okay, now it's done. Okay, just open the project in Cursor, and now I'm gonna run it. Okay, we're up and running. Earlier I sketched out the design I want, so I'm gonna go ahead and implement that now. So when I go to the home page, I'm going to erase almost everything except the image, and then I'm going to add some text to it. Okay, so I went through and I added my own headshot and then just like a one-liner about me. So this is what it looks like now. The next thing I want to do is create cards for all the projects or the apps that I plan to build. So I'm going to loop in Claude to help me with this. Okay, so my goal is to create a grid of all of the different projects displayed as cards, which are eventually going to act as links. So I wrote out this prompt to Claude. Each card should display a logo along with a title, and then I specified some rules for when a card is hovered over. So the first one is that I want the colors to be inverted, and I found something on Instagram that I want to use as inspiration. So I just copied a screenshot and then pasted it here. And just for like a quick tip, if you want to copy a screenshot to your clipboard, you can just do Command Control Shift +4 on Mac, and then you can just do Command V to paste it. This makes it so that you don't have to like save it to your desktop whenever you do a screenshot with Command Shift 4. So just by adding Control, you get that extra copy feature. So yeah, I told Claude to use that screenshot as inspiration. And then another thing is that I want a description of the project to show below the project title. And then I always like to pin ultra think just to get better results. So let's see what that gets us. Okay, so I forgot to put Claude in planning mode. So what I'm going to do to go back is I've actually never done this before, but if you do double escape, you can go back to the previous message and then redo it again. Okay, cool. So now I want to do Shift Tab to go to planning mode first. All right. Let's see what that gets us now that planning mode is on. Okay, so it came up with a plan, and now I'm going to give it some changes. So the plan was to create a project card, which is good. One of the changes I'm specifying is I want to use the shadcn components if possible. The next change I came up with was updating the main page to CSS. The only other change that I wanted was to use flex instead of grid. So let's ask it to make those changes. Okay, so it came up with a new plan that I'm satisfied with. Something that I also thought was cool is that it will perform some of the initialization steps for shadcn, and also adding Tailwind compatibility. So that's something that I didn't even think of. Okay, so I had it execute the plan, and coming back over here, it's pretty cool that it came up with these cards, and then it also redesigned the header a little bit. Okay, so now I want to look at the code a little bit more. And I could do that just in Cursor, but I actually prefer to look at it in GitHub pull requests. So I'm just going to ask Claude, make a PR from these changes. And hopefully it's going to create a pull request in GitHub. I configured some GitHub or the GitHub actions, so hopefully it shouldn't have issues with doing that. Okay, so it looks like it was successful. So let's check out the PR here. Okay, so I'm going to go over to the files change and just take a quick look at it. Okay, so added the CloudMD file. Let's see, some configuration, added the Shadcyan packages. Let's see, okay, got the headshot. Added some CSS. Okay, so, and then some more configuration here. Okay, awesome, this looks good. I really like reviewing the changes in GitHub just because it seems like Claude is really a pair programmer and you're reviewing someone else's code. And then I'm going to go over to the project, and then I'm actually just going to ask Claude to pull changes. Okay, cool. So the changes were just pulled in. So at this point, I'm going to do some more styling just because I usually always start with the design and nail the design before I do any other work. So I'm just going to make some changes real quick and then come back. So one change I want to make is to this header right here, this project's header. I think it should be products just because it's something more polished. So I asked Claude if I should change it, and it says yes, change it to product. So now it identified all the places that it needs to make changes. Okay, so I'm making a few more UI changes. So I want to remove the products header. I want to add some social links to YouTube X and LinkedIn. And then I also want to adjust the headers. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so the social logos are not quite what I want. And looking at the code, it looks like these are deprecated from the Lucid React library. So I'm going to ask Claude where else we can get these logos. Okay, so it gave me a few options, and it looks like there's another library called React Icons that we can use, so I'm going to do that. Okay, so it made some changes, and I'm much happier with these, so let's continue with that. Okay, I'm happy with it, so now I'm going to deploy. So I have been using Vercel for my deployments, so I'm going to do that for this one too. Okay, so it's been deployed. Thank you for watching. Please let me know if you have any questions in the comments.